G'day guys, we're up here in Barrington Tops at the moment. It's absolutely freezing. I think it's about 8 degrees at the moment in the morning. We've just had our coffee. We're wrapping up for the morning, packing up our camp. We're about to head off. We've got about a few hours to get out of here, back down to Port Macquarie. We're going to hit a couple of tracks. There's a couple of cool creek crossings that we're going to hit on the way out. And then, yeah, when we get back to Port Macquarie, we've got some pretty hard wheeling we're going to do over the next couple of days, and we're taking you along for the ride. Let's do it. Mornings like these that we will never forget. Our last day in Barrington Tops did not disappoint. Waking up to a misty morning, the gorgeous little stream next to our campsite really made us appreciate the beauty of Barrington Tops. Packing up our campsite, we made sure to take everything with us, something our tough terrain rear wheel bags really came in handy for. Our last waterfall of the trip, Gummy Place, was our next destination. It was a place that Tyler was keen to show us all, and we could definitely see why. It was a picturesque location and a fantastic opportunity to grab some fresh air. Unfortunately, the water was way too cold and leeches far too vicious for a cheeky swim, but that didn't stop us from getting some great photos.
Yeah, so we're just walking through the bush here. We got Ben up in the air doing a drone shot. I'm not made for this, hey? Like, it's hard work.
After making our way back down the trail and into the vehicles, we went through a quick creek crossing and onto a track called the Wombat Track. Now this is where our luck started to run out. The tracks were nearly impossible to get up, but that didn't stop us from giving it a red-hot crack. Thinking this wouldn't be too hard, we sent the camera car Hilux up first to get some great shots of the rest of the convoy coming up the track. Predictably, our camera car has done a bead on the back left tyre.
I done myself a bead, man.
And it's a pretty washed out, rutted section up here. It's pretty muddy, it's pretty wet, it's pretty soft. We're going to try and winch it and get the bead back on the tyre, see if it works, see if we can get it up here. If not, we might have to turn a couple of the vehicles around and go the long way.
Steve, what are you thinking?
This is fun.
That's not the reaction shot I was looking for.
Thankfully, this little issue was quick to be fixed. With a bit of inflating and luck, we managed to get the tyre back on the bead without any real fuss. Tyler was up next. Getting only a little bit further than the camera car before getting bogged down in the mud. Again, this was an easy recovery. A winch and a couple of max tracks made easy work of this track, although it was so slippery. The next two, Bree and TJ, in their twin lock weapons, made up the track, no worries. Making it look like a complete breeze.
Good work, mate. Keep into it.
Next up was me and the Ranger. After seeing Bree and TJ drive this track no worries, I had high expectations of myself. I thought I was going to make it up just fine, but unfortunately, a bad snag and a tree root sticking out of the ground halfway up the track led to one of my tyres popping off the bead.
So how do we,
You can't change that here.
I got up over that though. Is that when I popped the bead?
No, you popped it back down there.
Oh, you're joking.
Because it went, and then I was like, oh, I think it's popped, and then I looked again and I was like, yep, she's cooked now.
Yeah.
same tyre?
We'd spend the next 2 hours trying to figure out just how to get this fixed on a very steep, slippery hill with no solid ground to jack off and no high lift jack.
What do you reckon, Nick? Has he got a chance?
50-50 at this point.
Okay.
We originally tried digging around the tyre in hopes of having enough space to pull it off without jacking the car up, but to no avail. We even tried the old deodorant can trick, and that quickly backfired. I'm still growing the hair back on my arms. Even after everyone chipped in, we had no choice but to very slowly and very cautiously reverse the car down the hill on its rim. Thankfully, after finding some flatter ground and carving out the area with a shovel, we were able to get enough solid ground to jack up the axle, secure the car to a tree with a winch, and change the tyre to the spare.
Are you kidding me? We did it!
Woo! After that very questionable ordeal and having no more spare tyres left, Gary and I decided to take the other way around to the top, while the others continued. It was about another 50 metres that the camera car got before getting stuck again.
Alright guys, we're still on the Wombat track. It is actually a much more challenging track than we anticipated, especially in this weather. It's been bucketing down for days, and we actually did lose the Ranger back there. They are looping back around, and now unfortunately we have lost another bead on the camera car, but everyone's chipped in and helped out. Bree, TJ, Tyler have all been helping out with the winching and the changing of the tyre, so we are looking to get on the road soon.
Using a tree to winch the car up,
Getting bitch slapped, as you would say, by a tree.
we were able to get it on more stable ground and change the tyre. Very similar to my recovery. In the end, everyone chipped in to help and we made it up the hardest part of the track. Continuing along the track, everything was going smoothly right up until TJ got himself in a spot of mischief. TJ had accidentally slipped into a rut and he wasn't able to get out under his own steam. After a quick snatch from Bree, we were able to continue on the rest of the track. Then finally, after all of our troubles, we were out, and rewarded with a very scenic view on top of the mountain to take in some of the first rays of sun we'd seen in days. Alrighty, so we've just finished up in Barrington Tops and it was an absolutely epic couple of days. It's super wet, super muddy out here. We got a couple of cars stuck. We did 3 tyres, but we managed to get out alive with the help of everyone in the crew. So big shout out to everyone who helped us out, change all the tyres. The camera car took a massive beating, but I think, yeah, we all came out pretty much unscathed. We'd finally made it out of Barrington and started driving back to Port Macquarie, giving us all a bit of time to reflect on the last 3 days.
Alright, so I think I understand why some locals may call Barrington Tops the Tasmania of New South Wales, but I think we've just had every season over the last few days. And I definitely got caught out by a few of the tracks, but Tyler, you're probably a bit more familiar with the area. You're a bit of a local here, and how'd you find the weekend, especially camping with a bit of a bigger group?
Yeah, it was awesome. A good week away. We definitely had all the weathers in one day. We're driving out in rain and sun now, so we got both at one moment. But yeah, wet, very wet place up there. Things got slippery and we ran into a few problems, but we sorted it out and all had a good time and all made it out in one piece with no broken vehicles, just a few busted tyres.
Yeah, like I said, a few busted tyres, but we're out in one piece and that's what matters. What about you, Sean? You've been here before. What do you think of the trip?
Yeah, never been out this way myself before. I gotta be honest, I had an absolute ball. This place is absolutely incredible. There's nothing like it up in Queensland. So I definitely think I'm gonna be making another trip back down here at some point quite soon. Little disappointed in myself for running a tyre off the bead. I think I just had a little bit too much go on one of those hills and didn't pick the right line. But, you know, happens to the best of us, or maybe not. So, yeah, absolutely stoked, and I'm glad everyone came out and had a great time.
Yeah, like I said, it got you quite off guard, and like I said before, I didn't expect the tracks to be like that either, but at the end of the day, we got through it. That's what matters. Now, TJ, I think you haven't done much of the border, well, you haven't been much south of the border of Queensland. A bit different for you, a bit muddy.
Yeah, Bree, totally different. I haven't been below the border yet full driving, so it's super cool to see what you guys have down here. Yeah, totally different to the scenery that I'm used to. Beach camping is not like this at all. So yeah, thanks for the experience, Barrington Tops. Has been amazing.
Yeah, I think we've had quite the team. Now, how about you, Gary? I know you're a bit of a local and you've definitely done your time, done a few recoveries around here before. Was today your worst? Have you done worse?
Worse, we have. We've had a real fair dinkum recovery out here a couple of years ago when I blew a dip up in this very Isuzu I'm driving, which took us 6 hours to get out of here, which was super slow going. But yeah, this weekend's turned that around. The couple of little things that happened this weekend didn't stack up to much after what we went through.
Well, that's what we want to hear. At least we weren't your worst trip, so that's a good note. Anyway, I think we're going out of here because we've got more to saw tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks again, everyone.
Can I just make a note that I got Tyler Thompson to admit who has the best map?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, undeniably outdrove me on two tracks. Although there at the end you did fall in that hole and I missed it, so I caught one back up on you there a little bit.
I did have a slip up and I was recovered by patrol. I'll admit it.
Well, at least we settled the nav debate over the last few days. Maybe Tyler and I can settle the patrol debate tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I've been shown up once, so I might have to try come up with some sort of plan tomorrow to not get shown up 2 days in a row.
But that wouldn't be too good, would it, mate?
Cheeky. Stay tuned for the 4th and final episode of our Barrington Tops adventure, where we take on some local tracks around Port Macquarie. And this one is not one to be missed.
Why?